we're here at Broadway the day before to walk the cross country and the show jumping. I think the weather's supposed to be a bit miserable tomorrow, so for now the ground's quite good, but it might be a little bit soggy tomorrow, so I'll just see if I need to put studs in or not. But yeah, I shall take you along walking the cross country course and let you see the fences.
Hello and welcome back to another event vlog. This week we were back at Broadway going for the affiliated BE90. The course was very similar to the unaffiliated event we did a few weeks ago, which gave me confidence for this cross-country round. However, the weather forecast was not in our favour and was forecast a lot of rain, which made the jumping a little bit more difficult. All in all, the cross-country looked really fun, and then on to walking the show jumping course, which also had a few technical lines but looked really inviting and nothing too large.
Right, so we made it to Broadway BE. This is our first affiliated of the season, and as you can see, Ruff was rather keen to get going. We had a lot of rain overnight, which means a lot of lorries are getting stuck on the way in, so I'm hoping the ground's fine. I've studded him up, and fingers crossed for a nice-ish dressage test. I'm not expecting too much today, we just quite like to keep us focused and concentration, but it's all good fun and we're out eventing.
Ruffian warmed up really nicely. I was able to find a flatter spot to warm him up on, as Broadway is really hilly. It's quite hard to find. Coming into this dressage test, I was rather worried Ruffian might slip over a little bit because it's so muddy and wet, but he had studs in and he stayed nice and balanced. Going down the centre line, Ruff felt really super, and then I just prepared him for the corner to then go across the diagonal, and across the diagonal I really wanted to show the judge Ruffian's paces and show that he's being nice and active throughout his trot work. My main aim throughout this dressage test was to really keep his concentration and forelegs within the dressage arena, to be honest, because it was really slippery. And here you can see his half 20-metre circle on the right and then half 20-metre circle to the left back to C, and then preparing for the left canter between C and H, and then going on to a 20-metre circle at E. I was really pleased with Ruffian's upwards transition. He stayed nice and supple over his back, and then within the 20-metre circle there was a little bit of a mound on the grass, so I found it really difficult to keep his balance, but I think he did a super job. And then preparing for our downwards transition to trot between K and A, where he lost a little bit of suppleness, but then we regained it doing our half 20-metre circle to the left and then to the right again. I like this test because it's really symmetrical and really allows your horse to stretch both sides of the horse's body, and then again going up into a counter transition between C and M, which again was nice and relaxed, and he didn't poke his nose up at all. Going on into another 20-metre circle, again trying to keep him nice and balanced on the circle, really keeping him between my leg and hand, really focusing on the accuracy of this dressage test, really trying to ride it to the best of my ability, and then again preparing for our downwards transition, which he went a little bit stiff, but then we prepare for our walk at K, and then preparing ourselves again for our free walk on a long rein, which is half a 20-metre circle from E to B. And I'm very lucky with Ruffian's walk, as naturally it's quite active and he overtracks, but I found it quite difficult to ask him to stretch on this half 20-metre circle, as he saw something in the distance and wasn't really paying attention. But overall I thought it was a good effort, and then subtly trying to gather my reins up, not encouraging him to trot before getting to F, and then F, A, and then up the centre line to D is medium walk. Again, keeping him between my leg and hand, not allowing him to jog or trot, and then looking up the centre line to where I want to go, and then asking him for that trot transition at D, and then asking for the halt, but it wasn't completely square, but I was really pleased overall with this test, especially with the ground condition.
So we have just done the dressage and a quick turnaround for the show jumping. We did a clear round in the dressage test. I've remembered the test this week. It was alright. I didn't want to push him too hard because the ground's really soggy, a bit wet, a bit slippery. He is studded, but even so it was quite slippery. It was a nice enough test. I have no idea what the score will be, but going to the show jumping, it's really windy.
As you can see, as the day went on, it became quite windy, but just popping a few jumps with Ruff in the warm-up, and he was jumping really nicely out of the mud. And then onto our show jumping course, he jumps the first two fences quite well, I could tell he was quite keen again. He gets quite excited for jumping, but throughout this course I was trying to keep him nice and relaxed and not rushing, as it was really slippery underfoot. He jumps the third really nicely onto the fourth. Landing on the correct leg, Ruffian comes round to the fifth and sixth fence, again trying to keep it nice and steady around the corners. Yes, he has studs in, but it was really thick mud, so horses were still slipping. As the course continues for us, I would say it became a little bit unneat, a bit untidy. I did get quite close to a few of the fences, but Ruffian, jumping super out of the mud, was very careful for me, so he's a very good boy. And then coming over to this two-strided double that he jumps really well over, and then asking him to change leg as he landed on the wrong leg after the double, and then preparing him for the final two fences. You can really see how muddy it was going around that corner, jumping the second to last well, and then getting very deep to the final fence, but overall he jumped a super clear.
Right, so just on the show jumping, went clear by the skin of my teeth. The ground was awful in there, but really pleased with him, and going on to cross country.
I didn't want to jump Ruffian out of the mud more than I had to, so I just warmed up over a couple of cross-country fences and then went down to the start box. Popping over the first fence really confidently, giving us a really good feeling for the rest of the course. Broadway is such a beautiful location, and Ruffian and I thoroughly enjoyed our gallops up and down the hills. I always feel as if Ruffian isn't making up much distance, but he actually has quite a large gallop stride, and I actually struggle to keep him within the time because he likes to go quite quickly. Ruffian jumping really boldly through the water, and then I'm looking at my clock and see that I really gotta slow down, so I take the last fence nice and steady.
I don't think you can hear me, but I went clear cross country. Very pleased, got 8 seconds too quick. I'm really pleased that he was keen to jump out of the mud and keen to jump around today. It gives me confidence for our next event, which is an unaffiliated 100, through the finish line. And he was still like pulling my arms out, but I'm really pleased to see he loves his job. So very good day. But yeah, very pleased with the boy. He's very tired now, and we'll head home soon.
Finishing on our dressage score of 28 with a beautiful double clear.